Welcome to step 8 of the writing process, and this is edit and revise. So at this point, you should have an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. And your essay is complete, and that means that you're all done, right? Wrong. You still need to go back and check to see where you can make improvements. Those improvements are going to be things like spelling. It's going to be things like transitions that you could improve upon, rearranging your sentence. If your sentence is a little awkward and doesn't make sense, then you might want to rearrange it so that the reader is going to understand you a little better. You know what you meant to say, but your reader might not. So it's important that you go back, read your essay as though it was an article that was written for you to read, and if you find things that are wrong with it, fix it. So in this case, I'm going to fix a couple of errors that I see often when you guys are writing your papers. One of those things is repeating and using the same words a lot. So in this case, the first 2 sentences, I use the word often. Pet owners often contemplate the intelligence of their animals. People will often be surprised when their dog somehow seems to know things. Well, I don't want to keep using the same word because it just doesn't sound good. So I could change the words to be something different. I could say pet owners often contemplate, and then people will. I could change it to sometimes. Or I could take the word often out completely. People will be surprised when their dog seems to somehow know things that people do. So let's just go ahead and take this word out because it still sounds good. People will be surprised. Or I could say might be surprised. So that fixes that repetition. Then you're going to sometimes find that you spelled a word correctly, but it was the wrong word because you put 1 letter in. One think humans and dogs have in common, that is not supposed to be think. So I need to make sure that I have the correct word there. One thing humans and dogs have in common. And then again down here, this sentence is a little awkward. I want to change it so that it makes more sense. Let's hear. So in other words, according to source 1, dogs understand both the meaning of words and intonation. So I feel like putting according to source 1 here breaks up the stream of thought that I'm trying to accomplish. So I want to take according to source 1 out, but I still need to reference my source. So in other words, dogs understand both meaning of words and intonation used to speak them. I could add according to source 1 at the end, or I could just put parentheses and I could put source 1. And then I have addressed where I got that quote from without having to put in the awkwardness of according to source 1 and change my train of thought. So that's important to do throughout your essay. You might find that you have to rearrange some of your sentences, or you have to erase a word and spell it correctly. But it's important that you go through and read from start to finish and listen to the way it sounds when you read it as though you were not the one that wrote it. And you will find that some of your mistakes could be the difference between a couple of points on your essay. So make sure that you do that. And that is the last step. Go ahead and look at your essay now and make any corrections that you need to make, and make sure you check with your teacher.